everyone, we are here for part 2 of our tiny seed project. And I hope by now you've had a chance to set up your paper so that we're ready for our collage today. And as many of you know, a collage is just taking sheets of paper that you've prepared, and then you put them together on a third piece of paper and glue them down into a pattern or shapes, and in our case, in the shape of a flower. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pages and we're going to mark out on our sheet where we're going to cut, and then we'll glue them on another piece of paper. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is if you don't have glue, no worries, because you're going to take a picture of it anyway. So what you can do is you can just lay everything out and then quickly take a quick picture of it, and then it'll look like it's all glued down. In my case, to be honest with you, I had all my glue set up and my glue sticks and everything else, but my family has been crafting a lot and they've been getting into some of my supplies. So all my beautiful organization kind of ended, and so I'm only left with silver glitter glue myself. So this is what I ended up having. So it's gonna work. All right, so the main thing I'm going to show you first is we're going to start out with our pieces of paper. Now, one thing I noticed that's going to be easiest for us is if we mark where we're going to cut on the other side of the paper, and I'll show you how that's going to work. So I'm just grabbing, you can grab anything, a pencil, crayon, anything. I would just say anything erasable. Like don't use Sharpie or marker or something like that. So anything erasable. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a circle in the middle of my paper. Okay, so circle, not too big. All right, so right there. It's not perfect either, but I like Eric Carle's shapes are very organic, which means that they're not perfect. It looks like he didn't trace something. It looks like he did it freehand or just like we did. So I want to keep that. I don't want it to be perfect. All right, and then I'm going to do 5 petals. So I'm going to do more teardrop kind of oval shapes, so like this. So 1, okay, just like that. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you'll see this does not look like a flower right now. I just randomly did it where I had space. So it can be anywhere. Then I'm going to take my green paper, okay, I'm going to turn that over. And for this one, this is where we're going to do our stem and the petals. So for this one, I want more of a rectangular shape, a long skinny rectangle, and then kind of 2 almond shapes or ovals with a pointy end, okay? So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to do my rectangle, just like this. It doesn't have to be too big because again, you want it to fit on the page. I might actually even cut this down a little bit. And then we'll do our leaves. Leaves and petals are similar in shape, so we'll do that, okay? And looks just like this, so really simple. So we're going to go ahead and now you can grab your safety scissors and we can start cutting. So I'm just going to start cutting my oval. And so now we're going to have our petals. I'm just being careful. Almost done with my petals, and then I will just go and cut out my center. Now again, like I mentioned, Eric Carle's work, like I said, has very organic shapes. It means that everything might be a little off or the lines are not perfectly symmetrical. So if your cutting is not perfectly symmetrical, no worries, because it's actually adding to the effect of our work and trying to make it look like Eric Carle's work. Then we'll go ahead and we'll cut out our stem and our leaves. Okay, so just cut those leaves out. Cut out our rectangle. Again, I'm gonna leave it a little bit on the longer side, and then I can always trim it down to fit my paper if it's too big, which I'm feeling like right now it might be. So I can always trim it. Actually, it might be okay. We'll figure that out. We'll make sure that it fits because we want to have enough room for all of our petals. Okay. So I have my petals cut out, the center of my flower, and then I have my leaves and my stem. Okay. So again, really simple shapes. So find the one that you made that looks more like a circle rather than a teardrop shape. And that's going to be our center flower, the center of the flower. So let's do that. That'll be right about here. You want to put it about, here's a quarter of the way up the page. Okay, so almost towards the top because you want to leave enough room for that stem. Okay, then I'm going to take my petals and I'm going to lay them out just like this. I want to space them. And in fact, I think what I want to do is I want to make sure that the point of the petal goes underneath the circle because I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. So there is my flower. Okay, I set it up just like this. And you notice I haven't glued yet because I want to show you what I mean by taking your quick picture in case you don't have any glue. And then I'm going to just pop my stem. It ended up being the right size. Actually, I want it to go a little bit longer. And then I can put my petals wherever I like. So that I'll leave up to you. I might want to do it like this because again, Eric Carle's, his pictures have a lot of character. It means like things are always a little bit different, a little bit interesting. So I want to kind of leave that instead of making it perfectly symmetrical in this case because I want to be true to his style. So here is my finished flower. Okay. And then as you can see, it moves a little bit. So if you're at home and you don't have your glue, like I mentioned, at this point, once everything is laid out, you can just go ahead and you can grab your iPad and you can take a picture just like this. Another choice that I'll give you is if you did this part really quickly, you can always add a little bit of sun in the corner. Now, again, we're not doing it to look exactly like the real sun. We're just kind of doing like the idea of a sun. So I would just take my yellow big crayon here and I might just go like this because again, I want to keep to that texture, right? Just to give the effect of the sun. So I might just do this in the corner. You can obviously add grass to the bottom. Okay, so you can put your green grass at the bottom if you like. It's another option. Okay. And then you could also add a little bit of sky to the background. And again, I'm keeping everything in this style of how I feel like Eric Carle would add. So again, he would not make it look like real sky. He would just kind of add a little bit of a textured sky like this, right around the edges, okay? Just to give the idea of it, okay? So just some ideas. You can choose to do whatever you like. You could even add a little animal in the background, but I just wanted to give you some ideas. And very last step, for friends who do happen to have glue at home and you want to keep it like this, you're just going to go ahead. And one thing about collage that I am going to remind you is that when you're laying down your pieces, it's really important, not so much that you use a lot of glue. You really only need some raindrops, to be honest with you, just little dabs and little raindrops. But one important thing with collage is that you do go around the edge, okay? Because you don't want those edges curling up on you. So see, just like that, little raindrops. Just need to do that. It doesn't have to be so much. Again, just making sure that it's in the right place around those edges so that it always stays down for you. Okay, so I hope that you like this project. I hope that you like Eric Carle as much as I do. And thank you so much for joining me.